When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at JEWIL International, Gordon D Melville.
Hey everybody, welcome. Happy Red Friday. Red Fridays are big for me. I'm wearing red vest. Today it's a red vest, but red, remember everyone deployed. So my heart goes out to them. You're with the long bearded guy, Gordon D Melville on Inspired Choices Network. I'm happy you're here today. Today we're talking about mistakes are stepping stones to wisdom. Mistakes are stepping stones to wisdom. So we've talked lots about, if you've been following along, and if you haven't been, shame on you. You follow, go back and listen to the other episodes, because there's some really good stuff in there. So go back and listen and look. By the way, if you don't have your journal, grab your journal, grab something to write on, a pad of paper, pencil, crayon, whatever you got, so that you can write some of this stuff down, because you're not going to remember. And I want you to be able to remember. You need to be able to remember. And as much as we want to, our mind sometimes, if yours is like mine, it's really good, but it's short. So I write it all down. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate people reaching out. So many people have reached out. Thousands of people have reached out and said, liked and loved and shared and showed support and asked questions and all these good things. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to have you on. You can find my long, happy beard on Inspired Choices Network, on any platform that you, on-demand platform, all the different types of things. Search Inspired Choices Network on Apple TV, Google TV. Very excited to be on those. Amazon Fire TV, LG, Samsung Smart TVs, anywhere, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere that you listen. Bring friends, share it with people, because that's the only way we're going to get the message out. My message and my mission is to have a meaningful connection with more than 10 million men globally in the next 24 months, with a message of hope that says there are positive ways to deal with all the emotions we all feel every day. But as men, we were taught, don't show those emotions. Don't cry. Don't look weak. And so we hold that inside, that dis-ease in our bodies, which ties in very well with our topics today, in terms of mistakes being stepping stones to wisdom. If you've heard me talking, if you've listened to any of my stuff, I talk a lot about the lens we use. What lens are we looking at our mistakes with? Are we afraid? And so part of it, we have fear of mistakes. A lot of people have a fear of mistakes. Why? Why do we fear mistakes? Most people, there's very few people that can do it the first time and do it absolutely perfectly in every which way, the very perfectly. The very first time, they don't ever screw it up. That very rarely ever happens. Almost never. So that means we're all going to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. We're humans. We need to be able to do that. The only real true mistake, the only real true one, is not learning anything from those mistakes. That's the only real true mistake. We have to be able to learn from our mistakes, because if we can't, we're gonna redo them. And that's a saying from I don't even remember who said that. But if we don't understand our history, if we don't pay attention, if we don't make mistakes, if we don't learn from those things, it was a waste. It was an experience we had that's a waste. Why? Because we didn't learn anything from it. They're only tragic. Mistakes are only tragic if we don't learn from them. That's tragic, because you went through the heartache and the pain. Get something from it. Take the positive from it. The positive is that it's a learning experience that moves you forward, propels you forward. Keep making mistakes. I think it was Henry Ford, actually, that said the only real true mistake is not learning from our mistakes. Is the only true mistake. That's the biggest mistake. So excellent. Let's get into it. Definitions and meanings. So what does mistake mean? Well, you know what? I thought it was very telling. We're wired for the negative. We're wired for the negative side as a rule. Now, lots of us are wired other ways, but and I'm going to make the point like this. When I went to find out what the definition of mistake is, between noun and a verb and all these different ways to use the word, 2,278 different synonyms for the word mistake. We have more than 22, almost 2,300 different ways to say, hey, screwed up. Hey, I screwed up. I took a picture of it. I started to write them down, and then I went, this is crazy. I'm never going to be able to write all these down. So error, blunder, oversight, slip, fault, gaffe, miscalculation, flaw, fumble, misunderstanding, misjudgment, misinterpretation, misreading, misstep. I did a boner, a snafu, gaffe, clangor, stumble, boob, flub, fallacy, lapse, bungle. There's pages and pages and pages of them. I was like, holy crap. We're so wired for the negative side. We have almost 2,300 ways to say, hey, I screwed up. We need to stop looking. So we want to learn from those mistakes, but stop focusing there. The definition noun for mistake is an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. In a verb, it could be be wrong about. So to be mistaken about, right, is the verb part. The noun, an action or judgment that is misguided or wrong. It's from Middle English, 1300s, Old Norse, the Vikings. That's where it comes from. But what's the consequences of mistake? What is there's so many different consequences of mistake. Do I accept it and move on, or do I turtle and give up? I need to learn from the mistake, first of all. Missteps or mistakes we make that prevent us or slow us down or impede our consistent effort. I'm going to say that again. Missteps or mistakes we make that prevent us or slow us down or impede our consistent effort are mistakes. There's degrees of mistake, right? We think of it in terms of how many different they're all the same. Mistakes are just it's a flat. It doesn't matter what we do. A mistake is a mistake is a mistake. Nope, that's not the way it works. There's degrees of mistakes. So if I'm in math class, I could get a wrong answer. That's the mistake, right? 1 + 1 is 5. Well, wait a minute. That's a mistake. That's a wrong answer, right? But if I am playing with a loaded weapon and accidentally, it could be fatal. That mistake could be, it wasn't intentional. And sometimes mistakes are intentional. Sometimes they're not intentional. But at the end of the day, a mistake is a mistake is a mistake. So it becomes, what's the degree? They're not all fatal. Most of them are not fatal. 98%, 99% are not fatal. But we fear them anyway. Why? Because we don't want to look stupid. We don't look dumb. We don't want to come across like, oh, I didn't get it. I didn't get it handled, or I didn't understand how to make it work. I don't want to be embarrassed. What are people going to think of me? And you all know what I think of whatever everybody else thinks of us. I don't give a flying blue flip what anybody else thinks of me. Our journey is not for anybody else. You've heard me say that lots of times. It's not for anybody else. It's for us. I don't need anybody. You don't need anybody's validation. You don't need anybody's permission to have your life and to be you. Make your mistakes. Are you going to make the same as other people around you? Maybe not. My growing up, and I think a lot of us did that, where we're like, oh, I'm not going to make the same mistakes my parents did. No, maybe not, but I'm going to make a whole crap load of my own, right? We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. What lens are you using to look at those mistakes? And I think that's the key driver behind all of this. Very, very, very important to choose. It's a choice we make, folks, to choose to use the right lens to view whatever the situation is, to view the mistake, to be able to look at it and go, you know what, I went through it. Yep, I screwed it up. You know what? I'll take responsibility for that. We're going to talk about some other things about that in another segment. But the point is, I'm going to take that. I'm going to look at it honestly, and I'm going to move forward. So many of us allow and choose to let those mistakes stop us from moving forward. They prevent us from intentional growth because we're scared. That comes out weird. Now we're scared. now we're afraid. Now we've got fear. Fear is not positive mindset. And I understand there's emotions and there's going to be all the other emotions that come into that. But if I get led by my emotion, if I allow my emotion, I've said that before, on the top of my bedroom wall, and we're moving, I have to wash that off, I guess. I'll have to put it on a new wall in my new house. But stimulus, pause, respond. That's a choice. That's a mindset. That's a thing. I'm going, okay, wait. I made a mistake. That's the stimulus. I got to pause for a second or a couple of seconds or some minutes or whatever. I pause and go, okay, wait. Yep, I screwed that up. Right. I'm going to take 100% ownership for that. Perfect. I apologize to whoever it is. If I need to do that, yep, absolutely. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to move ahead in a more positive direction without the mistake, without the oops. We need to be able to not let those mistakes stop us or slow us down even. We need to push through those things. Why? Because it's important. Intentional growth is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. But we have to be able to have thick skin, or skin thick enough to be able to push through it. Yep, I made a mistake. Hey, I'm going to own it, apologize, learn from it, and move forward. I'm going to use a lens that looks at mistakes not as a positive thing necessarily, but certainly not as a negative thing. Those mistakes, and I guess I could look at it in a positive way, right? I'm looking at it in a sense that says, that's experience I just gleaned. I'm going to talk about this in the next segment. I got a short little quick story that from my own personal experience that will illustrate that point. The lens we use to look at the mistake, the lens we use to look at the mistakes of people around us. Oh, oops. Right? A lot of times we have trouble looking at our own self. We have no problem watching somebody else. Right? We can pick out the splinter in somebody else's eye in a New York minute. Sometimes we struggle to get the beam out of our own eye because we haven't looked there. But being able to have, what's the lens I'm using to watch other people make mistakes? My kids, my friends, my wife, anybody around me, colleagues, anybody. What lens am I using? Do I give them grace, or do I jump on them and slap them with a stick and go, hey, you screwed up, you screwed up, you screwed up? Why would I do that? But a lot of times we do. And so we're trying to, I want to encourage you and challenge you a little bit. Again, I've talked about it a bunch. I'm not here to polish your trophies. I'm here to shake and rattle your cage and shake your chain and go, hey, pay attention. Watch. Have awareness around the things that are happening for you. Have awareness of what the situations really are. What are those mistakes really, truly? And then being able to move through that. Learn from it, grow from it, 100% own it. Apologize if you have to, but then move forward with yourself. Take that as a learning experience and move forward. I need to take a quick break. We're going to pay some bills, but I want to do a couple quick shout outs here before we leave for this particular break. The first one is for my brother, Jose Escobar, is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check that out, the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, to learn more about a morning and evening routine mastery program that is changing people's lives. Fundamentally unbelievable. This program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up your free strategy session with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at, oh, I keep saying www, that's crazy, but the entrepreneursbookshelf.com. theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. And the other shout out, and that's a great program, by the way, if you're not doing some kind of routine in the morning and the evening, you're not being as effective as you could be. And this program, he's got it in a book. He's got the program plug into Jose. The other one I want to reach out to is Kat Schwarz. Kat, my sponsor, Kat, is a founding partner sponsor, but she's the founder and CEO of a groundbreaking company called Compassionate Healing Services, and offers a completely unique approach to treating physical and mental challenges. Check her out on Instagram at Compassionate Healing Services, or email her at info@compassionatehealingservices.com. And I believe she may join us on the network, which will be awesome. She's an incredible human being. Watch for her show. Love her to death. Love all my founding partner sponsors. And so as we go to break here, I got to take a quick break, but don't forget to pause and breathe. Pause, stop for a second, close your eyes if you can. If you're listening to it in the car, do not close your eyes, but try, pause and breathe. Pause and breathe. Ground yourself. Focus on what we've been talking about, and we'll see you on the other side. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, that's me, on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back. See you in a minute.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to the long-bearded guy at gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you to the people that are listening. I know there's some people that can't catch it live because they're at work or whatnot, but they pop in and catch the replay. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you so much. I have to mention again, I got my mug. It was for Christmas from a dear friend, and she said, "Hey, I got you a mug to use on your show." So I use it almost every show now. I love this mug. It's just the right size for the show. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening and plugging in and connecting. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. So we're talking about mistakes that are stepping stones to wisdom, learning from our mistakes, learning from, not just letting them happen and then going, you know what, whatever, because it's a waste then, right? We're wasting that opportunity to learn and grow. So what lens are we using to use those mistakes, to see those mistakes in ourselves and in others? What are we using? And I want to focus on ourselves. What type of a lens are we using to look at our own mistakes? What lens are we choosing to use to look at our own mistakes? Because it's a choice, and it may not be an easy choice. Sometimes that's a hard choice, but we get to choose the lens we're using. How am I going to look at the situation? How am I going to look at the mistake? We get to choose that. Don't abdicate that power, by the way. So, a quick little story to illustrate the point of the lens we're using. And most people do not use this lens, this type of lens. We should, but we don't. And I worked for a while. I spent 25 years in the retail automotive sector, but I spent 7 years on the road, traveling every major city you can think of in the US and Canada, teaching people. I was working with Grant Cardone, if you know who that is. If you don't, look him up, billionaire human being now. He wasn't that then. We were marketing him and putting that message out. And I was teaching, in-house teaching. We were promoting him for his workshops and whatnot, but we were teaching his principles and theologies and whatnot in terms of sales. And a gentleman by the name of Rick Hendrick, if you know who that is. If you don't, if you watch any NASCAR, Hendrick's Motorsports, he owns a bunch of NASCAR teams. Kyle Busch, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. There's a bunch of them that have driven for Hendrick's Motorsports. So I was doing in one of his dealerships, although as well as owning a half a dozen NASCAR teams. He owns more than 100. Well, at least at the time, he owned more than 100 dealerships across the U.S. And so I was in one of his stores. One of the general managers said to me, who ran that store, "Gord, I screwed up. I made a mistake." And I'm like, "Okay, okay." And he goes, No, it was a big mistake." I'm like, "Okay, and?" No, you don't understand. It was like a $1.7 million mistake. And I'm like, "Wow, that's a big mistake. That's a big mistake." And he goes, "Yeah." And he said, "Rick has called me and wants me to come to Charlotte to the head office because he wants to have a conversation. I think I'm going to get fired." And I was like, "Oh, that's not good. Let's hope that doesn't happen." Rick is a level head. He's an amazing businessman, great guy, but he's not stupid when it comes to business. I'll cross my fingers for you and pray that you don't get fired. But that's obviously for most of $1.7 million mistake. That's a big mistake. But it was a few weeks later, he showed up to see Rick. It was probably a week and a half, 10 days later that I ran into Rick. We were talking about some other things and some other business we were doing. And I said, "By the way, that general manager, what happened?" Because he was freaked out that he was going to get fired. And Rick laughed and we sat there and talked, and he explained what had happened. And he goes, "This is what happened when that general manager came into my office and sat down, and we started to have a conversation. And we discussed what happened and why it happened and the particulars around that. And we discussed all that. And Rick said, I asked him, what do you think we should do? And this general manager said, well, I don't know what we should do. I don't want to make that mistake again. I don't want to get fired. I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. And Rick started to laugh and he goes, get fired? What are you talking about? Why would I fire you? I just spent $1.7 million educating you. That, my friends, is a very wise lens. A very wise lens. Why would I fire you? I just spent $1.7 million educating you. Now, if it happens again, yep, this will be a completely different conversation. You make the same mistake again. You make it the first time, life happens. You know what? Stuff happens. No big deal. It's all good. We'll fix it. Take ownership of it. Apologize, whatever. But let's fix it. Let's move forward. But the second time that same mistake happens, it wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. I want to say that again. I tell my sons that all the time. The second time we make the same mistake in our lives, it was a choice. It wasn't a mistake. We knew that it was not the right thing to do, and we did it anyway. That's choice, folks. And we have if that's okay and that's the way you want to live, that's fine. You want to make the same mistake over and over and over and over. That's tragic and it's sad. But your life is going to reflect those mistakes over and over and over. If you're not willing to learn from the mistake and use a lens that says, hey, I want to learn from my mistakes. I don't want them just to happen. I want them to grow me, intentionally grow me. I'm going to look at it that, you know what, this was an experience. It's a hell of a good story. And it's going to be a part of my learning curve. When I look back later, I'm going to be able to pinpoint and go, there's the mistakes I made. Matter of fact, you know what? Personally, I've made so many and I've learned so much from the mistakes I've made in my life. I think I'm going to make a bunch more because I'm learning from them. And that's a quote we'll talk about in the next segment, I think. But you know what? I want to do this one now. It's my show. I can do whatever I want, right? And I get the boss on today too. So but anyway, she gives me latitude to be me. And I love her for that. She encourages that. She's one of my biggest pom-poms. She encourages and lifts and supports and cheerleads all over the place. And I love her for that. I love her team for that. They're amazing. Anyway, where is this one here? I wanted to read this. This one here. Einstein said, anybody who's never made a mistake has never tried anything new. How sad is that? Tony Robbins said, no matter how many mistakes you make or how slow your progress, you're still way ahead of anybody who isn't even trying. Make mistakes, folks. Let it all hang. Excuse me. Let it all hang out. Be you. You're not going to do it perfectly. Get over yourself. Nobody is. And no one's paying attention anyway. They say we've had some deaths in the family and whatnot. They say statistically, almost nobody shows up for a funeral. All the people we worry about. Oh, what are they going to think? Their opinion. What are they going to think if they fail? What are they going to think of this? What are they going to think of that? And they run their lives based on what other people are going to think of them. They don't care. Most of them aren't. Matter of fact, if it rains for your funeral, it drops to like 7% of the people will show up. Rain, a little bit of water will stop them from showing up. They don't matter. Stop worrying about them. You be you. You be you. And let the chips fall where they may, because the people that matter won't care. And the people that don't matter, or the people that don't care, don't matter. Your people, the people that you connect with, your tribe, they will jump all over you. They will, in a positive way, they'll lift you up. I said that in one of the other episodes. If you are an eagle and you want to fly with the eagles at the highest level there is, and you find yourself surrounded by turkeys and pigeons, you're in the wrong freaking room. You're surrounded yourself with the wrong freaking people. Get out of that space. Stop hanging around with those people. It's holding you back, bringing you down, and stopping you from living and being and becoming who you were designed and purposed to be. I encourage you, change. You have the power to do that, by the way. It's a choice. Yeah, but it's my boss, it's my ex, I don't give a crap who it is. If they're not supporting you and they're not holding you up and they're not encouraging you and they're not your biggest pom-pom people, get away from them, because they're stopping you. Whether you see that or not, they're slowing you down and preventing you from getting to where you belong and where you want to be. If you're satisfied where you are, kudos to you. Props. That's awesome. If you're not happy where you are, evaluate why. Evaluate why. You can be in process, not exactly where you want to be, but surrounded by people that are pushing you and encouraging you and lifting you up and wanting the best for you. As long as you do that and you keep pushing and you keep pushing and you choose to use a lens that learns from your mistakes, you'll be wildly successful. And you're already successful. Why? Because you're on the journey. To Tony's point, if you're doing anything, no matter how slow, any forward movement, you're still way ahead of anybody who isn't even trying to move forward. And everybody's not going to, and I get that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Pushing forward is not everybody's thing. Now, I still think could possibly be everybody's 10th tequila, but that's a completely different conversation. The point is, no, you're not for everybody. You are not for everybody. They are not your tribe. Don't worry about it. Oh, well, props to them. Good for them. I'm going to be me. And if you like that, the beard thing, the man bun, I get hate. I finally got haters that I can prove. Yay! But if you're going to discount the message because you don't like the look or the presentation of who's providing it, that's your challenge, not my challenge. I'm going to be me. And if you like it, great. I encourage, love you. If you don't like it, great. I encourage you. I love you. All good. We're just not going to hang out on either side, right? I have to take another quick break, pay some more bills. 2 quick shout outs again. Kat Schwarz is the owner and founder of Compassionate Healing Services. And if you email her at info@compassionatehealingservices.com and mention the long bearded guy, you'll receive, that's me, by the way, just so you you'll receive 20% off one service. That's $100 savings off Kat's most unique offering, spiritual private investigation services. Kat will use her skills, and it says skills, she has some incredible, I can't even talk today. She's got some very, very good skills as an evidential medium to reconnect you with a loved one who's crossed over and provide proof of their continued presence in your life. Email her at info@compassionatehealingservices.com. She's incredible. Reach out to her. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. The other one is Jose Escobar. He's the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up a virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at the Entrepreneur Bookshelf, entrepreneurs with an S, entrepreneursbookshelf.com. Great guy. CLA, Connected Leaders Academy, is an incredible organization, incredible group. I'm part, Christine is part. We plug into that mastermind in a huge way. Love those people. You want a bunch of cheerleaders? Jump into that group. Reach out to him today. So again, we're taking a quick break, but don't forget to pause and breathe. Don't forget, because it's grounding. It's grounding. We move so fast through our life. Stop for a second and ground yourself. You can do it anywhere. Stop, take it in through your nose, out through your mouth, hold it inside as you pull it inside, intake for 2 beats, hold it for 8 to 10, and then exhale as hard as you can out of your mouth for about 4 beats, and then do it again. Do it 2 or 3 times. See what happens. You'll be way more focused. You'll be more alert. Doesn't take a Red Bull. And we will see you on the other side. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. That's me, on the incredible Inspired Choices Network. We'll see you on the other side. Be right back. Don't go anywhere.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Hope you have your journals with you. We're gonna run through fixing our mistakes. There's a couple different things I want to give you, about 7 steps here to fix our mistakes and to be able to move through them in a positive way. I want you to write these down. Write them down. You will not remember them. No disrespect to your mind or your memory. You will not remember them. How do I know that? Because I had to write them down to be able to remember and be able to review. Most people can't retain more than 10% of what they hear on a daily basis, even if they take good notes. So you know what? Write it down, and that allows you to be able to review it. You can review it and review it. You put it in your journal, review it. So write it down. 7 steps to fix our mistakes. Having awareness is probably the biggest one right at the beginning. Remembering to be aware of what's going on. Having awareness of what's happening is really the first, and that's, I guess it's 8 steps. Having awareness and choosing the lens. Having awareness of and choosing the lens. Okay, that's how we're going to start. So the first one is to have awareness or acknowledge the mistake directly. Don't add to the mistake already made by ignoring it in the hopes that it'll go away. Burying your head in the sand is not going to make the mistake go away. And depending on the mistake, it can get bigger and more complicated and way harder to fix if we don't jump on it right away. So get the skunk on the porch, deal with it, boom, right on the spot. Number 1, acknowledge the mistake, have awareness, but acknowledge the mistake directly. Don't add to the mistake already made by ignoring it in the hopes that it will go away. It will not go away. It'll probably get worse. Number 2, take 100% responsibility and ownership of it. Don't pass the buck. Do not pass the buck. Take 100% responsibility and ownership of it. Even if you're the leader in the space, bosses and managers sometimes will push it off and blame somebody else. A real true leader will not do that. A real true leader, doesn't matter who, if they're responsible for those people, they take the responsibility. They take the ownership of it. A real leader will go, no, my mistake, my bad, I'll fix it. Apologies. Take 100% responsibility and ownership of it. Don't pass the buck. Number 3, apologize. It's an interesting thing in human behavior and psychology. If you apologize to somebody, they're yipping at you and they're angry because there was a mistake made. And they're yipping at you and yipping at you and yipping at you and yipping at you. And you apologize. I'm so sorry. Like, and be genuine about it, right? You don't want, there's no room for sarcasm and what. Genuinely, I'm so sorry. Really, I apologize. I'm so sorry. How hard is it for them to continue to berate you? It's hard because they know you're taking ownership for what's going on. So apologize. Genuinely apologize. Number 4, offer a practical way to make up for it or repair it. So don't just listen to the mistake. Oh, I made a mistake. There's a problem. We all know people that everything's a problem. It's always a problem. They don't come to you with a solution, but they always seem to see and know what the problem is, right? I want to know. My mustache is in my mouth. I want to know. Tell me what the challenge is. I'm all over that. What was the mistake made? I'm all over that. But bring me a practical solution to fix the problem, to fix the mistake. That's good for everybody. So offer a practical way to make up for it. Number 5, give others time and space to think and respond. Stimulus, pause, respond. Give others time and space to think and respond. It's going to take them a second to process what's happened. Depending on what the mistake is, how big or small, give them time. It's going to take time to don't put them in a box and go, hey, I want an answer right now. Let's go. Come on. That just adds more stress and anxiety, and it makes it all more worse. Give them time and space. You need time and space, and do that for yourself. Give yourself the grace that a lot of times we don't give anybody else. Pardon me, we give everybody else easily. We just don't give it to ourselves. Give ourselves time and space. Number 6, listen and respond with controlled emotion. Don't go off all half-cocked, screaming and yelling. That's not helpful. Everybody knows there was a mistake made. Everybody knows, right? But listen and respond with controlled emotion. Don't fly off the handle. Don't lose your ever-loving poop. Hold on to your emotion. You're an adult. Have mastery of your mind and your emotion. Most people do not. Most people just let it fly however it's going to happen. Most people haven't spent the time, because it takes time and attention to that, to master control of your own mind, your own emotion. If you want to know how to do that, I have a coaching program. I'm a high performance coach, mental awareness, understanding mastery of that, and how to do that. I can help you with. And there's lots of other people that can. I can help you with that. If you're not doing it, you need to do it if you want to get ahead. So that's number 6. Listen and respond with controlled emotion. Number 7, do what you say you will do to remedy or fix, to move the situation along. A lot of times we have situations where we make mistakes and something happens and we'll fix it. A lot of times a mistake is just an opportunity to show up for other people. There's so many things we've talked about, and you've heard me say a bunch of different things over the last however many episodes there's been. So many different things. They all interlock. They connect. So being able to choose to do what I said I was going to do. Life is only 10% what happens to us, 90% how we respond. Why? Because good and bad things happen to everybody. That's mistakes are made, stuff happens, life happens. Move on. The thing is, it's the 90% of how we respond to that, to those situations in life, good, bad, and otherwise, that are going to dictate whether we move forward in a positive direction or not. Whether we can accelerate our life in a positive direction, make the mistake, move forward, acknowledge it, take ownership of it, apologize, and move forward. Boom, another mistake. Great, owned it. A different mistake, not the same mistake, a different mistake. Here's the mistake. Yep, I own it. I apologize, and here's some steps to be able to fix it. That's what matters. In business, it matters. It doesn't. We all make mistakes. Stuff happens. It's an opportunity for us to show up, and how we show up will dictate whether that person stays with us as a client or not. Whether they're going to stay as a customer, a lot of times depends on how we respond to them based on the mistake we made. I hope that resonates, because I think a lot of times we're pushing to somebody else. We're looking at somebody else and going, hey, it's their issue. No, it's our issue. It's our challenge. It's our responsibility to make sure we put the best foot forward. It's not on them. It's on us. I hope that resonates. I hope that makes sense. As we got to run for the time goes so fast. It goes so fast. There's so much I could share. I want to share and get out. There's so much. I want to just as we go to break this time, again, don't forget to pause and breathe. But I also want to do a quick shout out for JEWIL International is my high performance coaching practice. If you're looking for mindset mentorship, you're looking for energy work, you're looking for somebody to hold you accountable, you're looking for somebody that can help move you from where you are multiple steps up, you need a coach. I talk with colleagues all the time about, I don't trust a coach that doesn't have coach. And a lot of times, lots of us have more than one. Mentors, more than one, more than 5. Why? Because we all have blind spots. We all have stuff. None of us have arrived. We all have growth that needs to happen. Sometimes we can figure that on our own. The answers are probably inside of us, but we need somebody else to help guide us through that to find where those answers are inside of us. We're not here to give you ideas. We're not here to give you the answers. We're here to guide you through the process so that you can find those answers inside you. Make sense? Excellent. If you need me, reach out. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me. You can go to the longbeardedguy.com website, connect with me there. There's lots of different ways to get a hold of me. I would love to be able to connect with you on a one-on-one. I have group programs available, a little bit less expensive. If you want to plug in, the point is reach out. The point is reach out, plug in. If that's what you want, upper limb mobility and intentional growth, you got to do something else. So as we go to break, don't forget to pause and breathe. Think about where you're at with your own mastery of your own mind and emotion. Do you need help? Let me know. We'll see you on the other side. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. So excited to be with you today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for plugging in. Really, really appreciate that. As we close out here, moving on after mistakes and a quick call to action. So what are you supposed to be doing once you're trying to move past? We gave you 7 steps to fix them and to be able to move through. Forgive yourself. Give yourself the grace you so freely give everybody else. I'm encouraging you. I want for you. I'm challenging you to look after you. Forgive you. Don't hold yourself up to a standard that's absolutely impossible to reach, because then you just keep beating yourself up. Don't do that. Seek professional help if you need to. And what do I mean by that? We make a mistake, we need help fixing whatever the mistake is, go get it. If we have to find somebody to help us, reach out. Ask, and I want this highly, pay attention. I don't know if that's on the soft, if that's even making a sound. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. I want to say it again. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Ask for help. We're not islands. We weren't designed to be islands. We were designed to be interconnected. Not one of us has all the answers for everything. Nobody does. We need somebody else. When I came to Christine and said, hey, I'll do what I do, my superpower, connect with people and share and teach and all those good things. I'll do my superpower. Can you do your superpower and help me get my message out to more than 450 platforms globally? Yes, I can't do that on my own. I don't have that kind of a technical skill. She's got decades of experience. She's had this network's been around more than a decade. She's got lots of experience. Plug into people instead of trying to figure it out on your own, spending all this time and money and energy and whatever, trying to Don't do that. Stay in your lane. Do your superpower. Do you be smart enough to ask somebody, courageous enough, smart enough, bright enough to ask somebody to help you. And they love that. That's their superpower. Plug into other people. It's not a sign of weakness. It's strength to ask for other people. When Henry Ford, they tried to interview him, he was a grade 3 dropout. Grade 3 dropout. But he was smart enough to surround himself with a bunch of people that knew and had the answers in any of the different disciplines that he needed them to have. And so when they asked questions, when reporters asked questions to him, he would field the questions off to the person around him that had the expertise in that space. He didn't need to know it all to be able to be successful and to move forward. We don't need to know it all. We all have one of these, correct? Any of you know how it works? Really, the details and all the bits and pieces? No. 99.9999% of us have no idea how it freaking works. But it doesn't matter. I don't need to know how it works to be able to plug into it and use it. And to have it make positive things for my life. Plug into it. Learn some coping strategies to get yourself through mistakes. Again, reach out. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. I can help you with that. But learn some strategies to journaling is one of the great strategies to get through. Why? Because you're getting it out of yourself. Hey, I made this mistake. I did this. But you know what? I owned it. I apologized. I moved forward. I gave them some solutions, practical, good stuff to be able to move forward with it. Excellent. There's some really, really, really good coping strategies. Don't be afraid of making more mistakes. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. I'll guarantee you one thing. It's a big secret, but one thing I'm pretty much guaranteeing you will make more mistakes in your life if you live even for another minute or two. Get over it. It doesn't matter. Move forward. Take it and go forward. So, call to action real quick. Running out of time. Write 10 ways to move past mistakes in your journal. How are you going to choose? What lenses are you going to choose to move past the mistakes? Write 10 in your journal. Send them to me. What are they? What are 10 ways you specifically are going to move past your mistakes? Write them in your journal. Because if you haven't written them down, they're not real. You got to write them down. Matter of fact, you go back when you forget, when you make a mistake, you go back and go, hey, what are the ways I said I was going to do this? We want to do that. If you have struggled to get 10, reach out to me. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. I can help you find those things for you. 10 ways to move past your mistakes. I hope you hear my heart. I say that a lot, but I hope you hear my heart. I care and I love you. And I want you to succeed. If that's what you want for you, I want to be able to encourage that and be helpful and support that in as many different ways as I could possibly do it, as many ways as I'm able. Please reach out. Next week, Friday, March 10 at noon Eastern Standard Time on right here, same place, Inspired Choices Network. We're going to talk about never give up, no excuses. Yes, you can. Never give up, no excuses. Yes, you can. We're going to talk about that next week. So we will look forward to that. You know what? Make it another great week. Again, make it. You have the power to make your life what you want it to be. Don't abdicate the power. Grab the power. And then execute on that power. Knowledge is not power. Actionable, active knowledge is power. Use this information to make your life better. Make it another great week. Know that I love you. Massive big hugs to you. Live abundantly and with intention. I'll see you next Friday at noon. Gordon D Melville, the long-bearded guy. Love you.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs.